We're in my home coop here, so this is up close and personal of my hot mess. We're going to talk about some of the equipment you need when you're on your homestead. What do you need to take care of chickens? Really the most important thing by far, chickens need clean water. They need fresh water. So I like this bowl. It's a low flow, low pressure watering system. You can use it on a high pressure water system, so you can hook it right to a hydrant or something if you wanted to. I've used galvanized waters. I still use those in the winter time, hauling water. I've used all the plastic waters that you can possibly imagine. I use a heated base, so heated base for your either galvanized or plastic waters in the winter. It does get cold in Iowa, so that's one thing that I have that I use. So the next thing that chickens need, feed is important. Chickens eat a 1/4 pound of feed per day per adult bird. They eat about 50 pounds of feed getting to adulthood. So I've got some pretty substantial feeders. This is a new feeder from McMurray Hatchery. It's a really heavy duty range feeder. Super thick galvanized metal. It is really heavy duty, and it holds 75 pounds of feed. So I need to raise it up. So one of the things to look for is to see how much they're spilling, because they just scratch it out. And so it's too low, and so it needs to come up so where their head is higher, and that'll keep them from just wasting all of their feed. Like this one's higher up, and I know that they can get to it. They've never had any problem. And there's a lot less wasted feed on this side. So don't throw away your feed, just raise your feeder. And then right beside me, because I have full-grown birds, I've got layers, I've got crushed up oyster shell pieces. Chickens' eggs are calcium, so it's just calcium carbonate. So oyster shell is another source of calcium that helps build those really strong eggshells. So when you're talking farm fresh eggs, you know, those hard eggshells, this is where that comes from. So I keep that free choice. They'll come, they scratch it if they want it, if they need it. Chickens kind of regulate themselves and fill it up. It actually goes quite a while. I've got adult birds, so I've got laying nests in here. This is a 10-hole Brower nest, made in Iowa, super sturdy. It's 5-6 years old. It could use a wash, but it's still in really good shape. Nests are really important to keep your eggs clean. That's where the manure and the droppings are, so that's where your chances of infections and stuff are most likely. Keeping a nest, keeping clean bedding in your nest, that keeps your eggs cleaner. And also having something kind of soft. Straw works. There's plastic nest pads, those work really well too. The other part of this is it's roosting bars. Chickens need a spot to roost, so that's part of the chicken hierarchy. It's part about keeping them warm in the winter where they can cover their feet. It's good posture. It's a protection so they're not on the ground for other critters to find them. Having enough roosting space for your chickens is really important. That's why there's this weird bar in my coop. I've got a lot of chickens. Chickens don't use floor space, not if there's roosting space. This bar tonight will be completely covered. They like to be the highest bar that they can get to, and so this is where they kind of pile onto. They need roughly a foot per bird in roosting space, depending on the size of your birds. And it needs to be 1.5 to 2 inches wide. 2x4 on edge is probably as small as you should go. You don't want them to be able to go all the way around. So dowels, I don't recommend like any dowels or really anything round. So water, nests, roost, oyster shell, grit. Ours eat a lot of outside things, bugs, grass, grains. They're eating whole grains. They really need that grit in their crop in order to help grind up their food. That's how it works. In my coop, I keep two separate areas, and this is storage. All this is where I keep my stuff. I keep extra bedding, I keep my water. I will start chicks in this area. I use my brooder lambs. I'll hang my brooder lambs in this area, and I'll put my chicken brooder ring up, and this will be my heat source. I have power in my coop. That was a very long dig, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. I use the lamps for 2 different things, but always, if you're starting chicks with the lamp, always have a backup lamp, just because it'll burn out. This is a feeder ring or a water ring. I like these when I'm using it for chicks because I'll put the water on here and it'll get them up off the floor and just keeps the bedding drier. This is my heated base for my waters if I have to haul water in the wintertime. Brand new McMurray Hatchery first aid kit. So in this handy bucket, which is so useful in itself, is everything you need to take care of your chickens. So we've got some VetRx, which is all-purpose kind of internal antiseptic, feel-good chicken formula. We've got Blue Coat, which is an antiseptic spray. It's a really nice thing. If they get a wound on them, if they've been pecked too much, it's an antiseptic. It's a wound dressing, so you spray it right over the things. The color is because chickens are attracted to bright, shiny colors. That includes red or blood. We've got some veteran antibacterial spray. We've got some hot pick. If there's a lot of pecking between your chickens, like the back of the head, if they're pulling out tail feathers, you can spray it on the affected bird, and it discourages the other birds from pecking at it. In it, we've got some fly strips. We get bugs in the Midwest, we get flies. Certain times of the year we have black mites that go through that they can actually kill chickens, so keeping the flies under control is going to help keep your water clean. It's going to be able to keep your chickens healthier, and it's going to be less irritating for you. So, McMurray first aid kit in this bucket, super handy. Yeah, so that's pretty much my coop. I got some things outside the coop that I use. One of the things I use on the homestead tools, I really like my range trough feeder. It's a 5-foot long trough feeder. I loved it for ducks. Put it in the yard, you can move it around. Chickens are out. I always keep a set of galvanized on hand. Galvanized feeder, galvanized water. They're very reliable. I don't use them all the time, but I do use them when something happens and I need to. So that's really important. Like always, when you're counting on yourself to be sustainable, when you're not, you're trying to do things, having a backup plan, is important. Having a second option, having a second light bulb, having a second feeder. That's really all the tools. I mean, obviously when you clean your coop, I just use a flat spade, dig the bedding out, I put it in a wheelbarrow, I compost it by the garden. I mean, that's just tools you're going to have at home anyway. So, about that. So, thanks for joining us, and yeah, tune in for more.